Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May my homage to my teacher, Pinat Lokuswamin Vahanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends, today we are going to learn about a wonderful sutta, one of my favorite suttas. Why? Because this sutta gives us a roadmap from the beginning until the enlightenment. And also it helps us to solve one of our main issues that we have when we meditate. What is that? Mind wandering. Dear friends, normally everyone likes to meditate and they want to get rid of those distracting thoughts during the meditation. They want to switch off their distracting thoughts. So they try to meditate, but most of the time they are unable to develop their meditation practice to the next level. Why? Practicing just meditation is not enough to develop the meditation or to stop mind wandering during the meditation. There are other things that we should practice in order to develop our meditation practice to the next level. So without practicing those things, it is not possible to develop our mind to the next level or develop our meditation practices to the next level. So in this sutta, Buddha teaches us 5 things that we should practice in order to mature our mind to practice the path or follow the path to the full enlightenment. This sutta's name is Meghiya Sutta. So today we are going to talk about one part of the sutta, and next time we are going to talk about the second part of the sutta. Okay, Meghiya Sutta. The monk Meghiya. In this sutta, Buddha gives a piece of advice to this monk Meghiya. At that time, this monk was the attendant to the Buddha. And one day, early in the morning, he went to the Buddha and asked for the permission to go to the nearest village for the alms. So in the Buddha's time, most of the time, monk went for asking for food with their bowls in their hand. And every time when we learn about a monk or a group of monks who uh, leave the monastery to find food, always it says like they took their bowl, and also they took their second robe with them. So it means like they take everything that they have when they leave a particular place. So normally monks mainly they have three robes, the one layer robe and the double layer robe and under robe and the food bowl. And so it is a sign that at that time when they practice detachment effectively. So when they leave a place, they don't have a strong intention to come back to that place. They leave that place forever. Actually, when we understand the impermanence of our life perfectly, actually we will be able to live from each moment forever. When we leave our house, we can leave it forever. Like, I mean, yeah, if we get a chance, then we can come back, but without any intention of coming back. Just we are leaving that moment. When we are leaving our room, we can just leave our room behind us. So it's another practice. Okay, so in this sutta that monk Meghiya, he went to the Buddha and asked for permission to go to the nearest village for the alms. Then Buddha gave him the permission. Then he went to that village, he collected food, and then he finished his meal. Then he went to a river, and he started walking back and forth. And then he saw wonderful mango forest, a forest with mango trees. Very beautiful, very secluded. Then he thought, this is the place for me to meditate. I can come here, I can meditate, then I can concentrate my mind, then I can attain the full enlightenment. So then he went back to the Buddha. Now he has a very strong desire to meditate in that forest, in that mango forest. Why? Because it is very secluded. And then he went to the Buddha and he asked for the permission from the Buddha to go to that forest and meditate. Buddha, he knows about the path toward the enlightenment perfectly. And also he knows about all the skills someone has to achieve it. So Buddha perfectly knew this is not the right time for this monk to go to that forest and meditate. So then Buddha said, Meghiya, please wait until someone comes. Because Meghiya was the attendant to the Buddha at that time. Then that Meghiya said, Bhante, I would like to go to that forest and I would like to meditate. Please give me the permission to go to that forest. And then for the second time, Buddha denied his request. Then for the third time, that monk said, Bhante, you have already accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. You have already attained the full enlightenment. But me, I have so many things to do to attain the full enlightenment. Please give me the permission. So he begged for the permission from the Buddha to go to that forest. But he's with the enlightened one. He's with the the greatest teacher who uh, discovered the path toward the full enlightenment. Yet he tells Buddha, Bhante, you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, but still I have to do so many things. Please give me the permission. Then Buddha said, if you talk about meditating and attaining the enlightenment, what can I say? You can go. Okay. So then he was so happy, and then he uh, uh, rushed to that forest to meditate. So now he was so excited, like uh, like us. Okay, so when we know our meditation program, and when you know, okay, oh, now there's a place to meditate, then oh, we are when we are going to attend a meditation retreat, we are so excited. Okay, so that's why always we say, okay, first just let go of the excitement, okay, and let go of all the expectations. Okay, so that monk went to that forest and he saw nice mango tree and he sat under that mango tree. Then he started to meditate. But unfortunately, he couldn't concentrate at all. Three types of unwholesome thoughts arose in his mind. Thoughts of sensual desires, thoughts of anger, thoughts of doing harm. Sensual thoughts, angry thoughts, and harmful thoughts. And okay, so let's talk about a little bit about these three types of thoughts. It's not mentioned in the sutta exactly, but so let's uh, try to understand it. Thoughts of sensual desire. These are thoughts of craving or attachment to sensory pleasures such as sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and physical sensations. Examples: craving for luxurious foods, obsessing over someone's physical beauty, creating attachment and longing. So those are the examples for thoughts of sensual desires. Thoughts of anger. These are thoughts of ill will, resentment, or hatred toward people, situations, or even oneself. For example, feeling anger toward a colleague for receiving recognition you wanted. And we have so many. We can have so many examples for that. Next one, thoughts of doing harm. These are thoughts of cruelty or malice intending to hurt others physically or emotionally. For examples, planning revenge against someone who insulted you. Having thoughts of harming oneself due to guilt, despair, or hopelessness. So those are thoughts of doing harm. So these three types of unwholesome thoughts arose in Venerable Meghiya's mind. So now his mind was wandering everywhere, to the sensual pleasures, to the people who did some bad things to him, and some harmful thoughts arise in his mind. So he couldn't concentrate at all. He was so surprised. Why? He had a very strong desire to meditate. Now he cannot meditate. Sometimes it happens to us as well. Sometimes you go to a retreat with so much excitement, but during the retreat, you might not be able to concentrate. So that's what happened to Venerable Meghiya. Then Venerable Meghiya knew where he should go. He went back to the Buddha. Then Buddha gave this piece of advice for him. Buddha said there are 5 qualities that help bring an immature mind to maturity. So we need to mature our mind to meditate effectively. To get the best results of our meditation practice, we should mature our mind. So how can we mature our mind? By practicing these 5 qualities. Number 1, this is the most important thing, associating with noble friends and noble companions. Number 2, virtue and restraint. Number 3, hearing talks that break defilements. Number 4, arouse energy for wholesomeness. Number 5, wisdom that leads to the end of suffering. Okay, again, the 5 qualities that help us to mature our mind. Number 1, associating with noble friends and noble companions. That is the most important thing. Number 2, virtue and restraint. Number 3, hearing talks that break defilements. Number 4, arouse energy for wholesomeness. Number 5, wisdom that leads to the end of suffering. So without practicing these 5 things, we cannot mature our mind. So now we know why mind wandering happens during our meditation practice, because still our mind is not matured yet. So now, while practicing meditation, we should practice these 5 things to mature our mind. So let's talk about the first thing. Associating with noble friends and noble companions. So one day, Venerable Ananda, the chief attendant to the Buddha, went to the Buddha and said, Bhante, noble friends and noble companionship are half of the holy life. Then Buddha said, not so, Ananda, not so. Noble friends and noble companionship are the entire holy life, Ananda. So this whole path toward the enlightenment depends on associating with noble friends and having noble companions. Only the Buddha who attain full enlightenment without any noble friends or any teacher. That's why he's called Buddha. So a Buddha attains enlightenment without a teacher. But for others, they need to have noble friends and noble companions. I think some of you know about one of the chief disciples of the Buddha. His name was Arahant Sariputta Thero, or Venerable Sariputta Thero. And Venerable Sariputta Thero was the foremost in wisdom. His wisdom second only to the Buddha. But until he met another enlightened monk, and until he learned a piece of Dhamma, a piece of teachings of the Buddha, he couldn't attain any stage of the enlightenment. He didn't even find the way to the enlightenment. But one day he met an enlightened monk. Then he listened to a very, very short verse about causes and effects. Then he understood it perfectly. Then he attained the first stage of the enlightenment. And also another day, when Buddha was giving a Dhamma talk to another lay person, he also listened to that Dhamma talk, then he attained the full enlightenment. So that's why from the beginning to the end, we need to associate noble friends and noble companions. So that is the first quality that we need to develop in order to mature our mind. The second one, virtue and restraint. So in this sutta, Buddha says, the monk is virtuous, living with self-restraint according to the code of discipline. He practices respectful behavior and follows rituals diligently. Having embraced the precepts, he remains vigilant, recognizing even the smallest faults as potential dangers. So always we should try to keep our precepts, because that is very important thing to develop our meditation practices. So most of the time people don't pay proper attention to their virtue, but they want to develop their meditation practices. So then there are so many obstacles on their way to develop that. So that's why practicing virtue is really important to develop our meditation practices, or to mature our mind, and also practicing virtue is not just keeping precepts. There are some other things that we should practice in order to practice virtue or morality. So why? Because there are defilements in our mind. If we just focus on keeping precepts, then and if we don't practice other things that support us to keep our precepts, then there is a possibility suddenly some defilements arise in our mind. Then our mind is overcome by those defilements. Then we break our precepts. So that's why we have to keep precepts, and also we have to have a respectful behavior, and also follows other practices that helps us to develop our virtue. And also here it says that monk see the danger in smallest faults that he has in his bodily actions and verbal actions. Okay, so what is the virtue for the lay people? Okay, so in Buddhism, for the lay Buddhists, they try to keep 5 precepts: abstaining from killing beings, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, and abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. And for a monk like me, okay, so I'm a higher ordained monk, a bhikkhu. For me, there are more than 227 precepts. There are more than 227 precepts. And but for you, you have just 5 precepts to keep. Okay, and however, Buddha recommended lay people to observe 8 precepts at least 4 times a month. Okay? But nowadays, even Buddhists, they are unable to observe 8 precepts 4 times for a month. So that's why we encourage people to observe 8 precepts at least once a month. At least once a month. Normally on full moon days, lay Buddhists, they try to observe 8 precepts. So, but this is the basic virtue for the lay people like you. Okay. And to develop our virtue, to keep our precept, there are some other things that we can practice. So practicing the 6 principles of living in harmony with others, without disputes, but with love and respect. So this practicing these 6 principles helps us to develop our virtue. So today I'm not going to talk about these 6 principles. It is in another sutta. So in future, I will talk about that sutta. Then the next quality, hearing talks that break defilements. Okay. So that is the third quality that we should develop in order to mature our mind. So because what we hear shapes our mind. So if we keep listening to things that arouse our lust, anger, jealousy, delusion, then what happens? Then when we sit down and close our eyes to meditate, all of those things arise in our mind. So that's why it's important to pay attention to what we hear, and also it's important to listen to these talks in order to develop our these qualities in our life, and also to be motivated to practice the teachings of the Buddha. So we call them 10 skillful talks. Okay? So the monk gets to hear easily the talks that break off defilements. That are conducive to meditation, that lead to detachment, that lead to dispassion, that lead to cessation, lead to peace, and ultimately that lead to nibbana, the final liberation or the full enlightenment. So simply say, we have to listen to some talks that helps us to find our inner peace, and that helps us to get rid of negative thoughts in our mind. Okay. So let's talk about what are those 10 talks that we should listen to. 10 skillful talks. The first one talks on the benefits of refraining from showing off one's own qualities. Okay. The Pali word is appiccakata. But however, if you look at the translation of this one, appiccakata, you will find it's like listening to talks on having a few wants. But actually, in another sutta, Buddha has explained about appiccata, that word. So the first one, the Pali word is appiccakata. Kata means talks. Okay? Appiccakata. In another sutta, Buddha has explained about appiccata. Okay? Appiccata. So in that sutta, Buddha explains it in a way that refraining from showing off one's own qualities. Because when we start practicing teachings of the Buddha, and when we start to practice meditation, then we would like to share those things with others to get some credits from other people. Okay? We would like to show, oh, now I meditate every day. Okay? Now I go to a Buddhist temple. Now I follow Buddhist teachings. Okay? Or sometimes people say, oh, now I'm a Buddhist. Okay? But sometimes like it's not necessary to tell that, okay, but there are moments that you should tell those things. But some of the times, like, we do that to show it off. Okay, now I'm a little bit different from you, okay? Because I'm a meditation practitioner, and I go to the Sunday meditation class, and but that is something that we need to get rid of. Even I, still I have, okay, because I have that bad quality, okay, and but we should put effort to get rid of that bad quality. Okay? To do that, we have to listen to some talks that teaches us about the benefits of refraining from showing off our own qualities. Next one, talks on contentment, talks on seclusion. Because if you don't listen to the talks that teaches us about the benefits of contentment, then we don't want to practice that. So we want to have so many things in our lives, especially in this, especially in today's fast life. So people like to have so many things. This material world. So people like to have so many things, but sometimes they don't use everything. Okay? Sometimes they buy new clothes every time, but maybe they wear that cloth for a one time, or maybe they don't. Sometimes people forget that they have bought such clothes. Okay? So that it's really important to practice contentment. And the next one is the seclusion. Okay? So there are two types of seclusion. The one is finding the seclusion in external world. For example, like in this sutta that Meghiya, Venerable Meghiya wanted to go to that forest to get the seclusion. It is a one way of getting the seclusion. The other way is having the seclusion inside of the mind. Okay. How can we do that? By abandoning 5 hindrances. And also, there's another sutta. In that sutta, Buddha speaks about wonderful solitude. Wonderful solitude. In that sutta, Buddha explains what this wonderful solitude is. That not dwelling in the past, not having expectations about the future, and understanding the impermanence of the present moment. So that is Buddha calls it wonderful solitude. Wonderful solitude. Okay. The next one talks on not socializing. Not socializing. Okay. It means like, yeah, you can. Okay, you can go to some gatherings. Yeah, you can meet your friends. Okay, but we need to understand. If we have a strong desire, or if we have attachment to the socializing, then it could be harmful to our meditation practice. Why? So many harmful things can come to our mind. And not only that, because practicing meditation is something that you do alone. So that's why sometimes because especially in here in the US, I think there is ongoing crisis about loneliness. Okay, loneliness. Okay, people afraid of being alone. But in Buddhism, it is something we should practice. Okay, we should practice. Like so to do that, so we have to listen to some talks that teaches us about the benefits of not socializing. Next one talks on arousing energy to abandon defilements and develop wholesome states in the mind. Next one is a talks on virtue. So because if we don't listen to the talks about virtue, then we don't know what to practice. So if you don't learn about the 5 precepts, then you don't know that it is important to practice. It is important to keep 5 precepts. So we have to listen to those talks. The next one talks on concentration, like practicing meditation, the importance of practicing meditation. Talks on wisdom, okay, and talks on liberation from all the defilements, liberation from craving, attachments, or ultimately liberation from all the suffering. And also liberation from, so suffering means, I think you learn 5 aggregates, and we talk about that liberation from 5 aggregates, or liberation from all the suffering. Okay. And talks on the knowledge and vision of liberation. Okay. Talks on. So there are suttas that monks talk about their knowledge and their vision of their liberation. So we have to listen to such talks. Or these days, like we should read those suttas, okay, those teachings, okay. Then it helps us to develop some desire, a healthy desire to liberate our mind from all the sufferings and 5 aggregates and all the attachments. Okay. So those are the 10 talks, 10 skillful talks that we should hear in order to mature our mind. Okay, so this is the end of the first part of the sutta. Okay. Do we have any questions today?
Yes, I do have question, Bante. When you say that hearing talks that break defilements, then the 10 talks that the last slide that you gave, say 10 skillful talks, those are the talks that can help us break defilements?
That's right. So that is the description. Okay, okay.
And these are the talks that actually, that monk that couldn't reach enlightenment, couldn't practice Meghiya, is that the one, is it connected to him?
This is connected to all of us.
Oh, I see. What happened to him? Did he reach enlightenment? I'm just curious.
Yeah, he attained the enlightenment.
Oh.
He attained the enlightenment.
In the mango tree, he couldn't attain enlightenment. So what happened afterwards?
There are no suttas about that, but we know, like, there are some verses of there is another part in Pali Canon. It is called the verses of enlightened monks. In that part, there are verses of this enlightened this monk as well. Verses of Meghiya.
So in that case, the reason why he couldn't attain enlightenment under the mango tree is because he didn't have a noble companion?
At that time, his mind was not matured to develop his path toward the enlightenment. Okay. So he started from a level like we are in right now. Okay. So that's why I said this is like a road map, okay, from the beginning to the end. Okay. So we are like him. Okay. So because when we try to meditate, all the things in this entire world come to our mind. Okay. So now we are like him. Okay. Still we are in the beginning. Okay. But then Buddha gave that talk to him. Then he must have started to practice those 5 things. Then he was able to mature his mind. Then he was able to develop his mind and to the highest level. Then he attained the full enlightenment.
I have 2 questions. I try to keep most days I keep the 5 precepts. But when we go to the temple, we're encouraged to do the 8 precepts. And the 8 precepts include fasting, right? I have a hard time doing the fasting. I get hungry around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I try different things like drinking juice and things like that. I know it's a mind. It's coming from here where I really need to cut it off and just do it. But one of my friends, she's a noble friend. She goes to the temple as well, and she mentioned that I can replace that fasting precept with practicing right speech. Like, can I replace, like, the noble eightfold path? Is it possible, like, if I can't do the fasting until I get there? Because I remember one time Bhante Bodhi said, don't force it. When you're ready to do all 8 precepts, that time will come. But don't try to say, I have to do it, and then try to force myself. So can I replace it? My question is, can I replace it with, like, I mean, I practice right speech most of the time, but sometimes I slip up, right? And I say the wrong thing. Is that possible to do something like that?
Okay, so the thing is, we should practice right speech always. So the thing is, because Buddha specifically mentioned about the 8 precepts, so then Buddha included fasting into the 8 precepts. So you can stop observing that precept. It's totally okay. It's totally okay, because that basic virtue is the 5 precepts. But you cannot replace any precept with something else. Why? Because that was the Buddha's recommendation. Why? Because in that sutta, Buddha said, you should observe these 8 precepts imitating the lifestyle of the enlightened monks. Okay? So enlightened monks, and they didn't eat afternoon. So yes, they always practice right speech. So, but in that sutta, Buddha said, like, imitating and that lifestyle of the enlightened monks, you should try to practice the fasting. So that's why it's okay not to do that, because if it is difficult for you, but if you do that, then it is helpful for you to develop your practice to the next level. But however, before that, there are other things that you can practice. Like, okay, if you observe, if since you keep your 5 precepts every day, try to have a happy mind about your precepts. Before you go to bed, think about, okay, today I didn't kill any living beings, I didn't do stealing. So try to have a happy mind about that.
Okay.
So that is something that we forget to do. And so first, be happy about the level that you are in right now. Okay? And then try to practice the next level. Okay? So maybe if it is difficult for you to stay until 6 p.m. first, then try to stay until 5 p.m.
Okay.
Then next time 6 p.m. Next time 7 p.m.
Okay, I'll try that. That's a good one.
And
That's a good way.
yeah. So then gradually you will be able to do that.
Okay, thanks, Bhante. One other quick question. So, number 3, hearing talks that break defilements. With us listening to our Bhantes giving Dhamma talks, is that part of the hearing? Okay. Thank you.
So if you come to our Sunday program, every time you get the opportunity to listen to skillful talks.
Okay.
And and whenever you go to monastery, you get that chance to listen to skillful talks.
Okay. Thanks, Bhante.
You're welcome.
I asked the same question I was going to, whether it's specific talks or like if we listen to the audio recordings from Colombo, things like that.
Of course. Like, yeah. So there are videos in YouTube, and there are audios, and we are trying to upload contents to our meditation app. So, and so in that way, you can get get those talks all the time. Okay. So now it is easier, because yes, there are so many unskillful things out there, but also there are so many skillful things out there. Now it's easier to listen to skillful talks like never before.
I've been trying to substitute, instead of listening to music in the car when I'm driving places, trying to listen to Dhamma talks.
Excellent.
Trying to get in a better habit. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
So the seeking of the good company, the good people. So how different is that from talks on no socialization, not to socialize?
Yeah.
So I guess not to socialize on the other kind of people. Right?
Oh. Okay. So the thing is, like, we have to associate like noble friends. So socializing means like when you hang out with your friends. I mean normal way, a normal association. Like what is the difference between that normal socialization and associate noble friends? So when you associate noble friends, then it helps you to learn the teachings, and they motivate you to practice meditation, and that association helps you to abandon defilements in your mind and develop wholesome states in your mind. But the normal socializing arouse some defilements, negative thoughts in your mind. So in that way, you can identify what I should do. Okay, so that's there's a sutta. In that sutta, Buddha said, when you do something, if if defilements arise in your mind and wholesome states decline, then you should not do that. And if you associate something, then if wholesome states grow and unwholesome states decline, then you should keep doing that. So that is the measurement that we can use.
Okay, great. So when meeting any new people, and then new people, I don't know what they are, good or bad, I don't know. So it depends on how I sense them. Either they create a good state of mind, or they rise agitations. Based on that, therefore, I go with them or not. Yes, it's something like that.
Yeah, so then you should, because it always depends on your goal and your what you want to do in your life. Okay, so if you want to develop your meditation practices, and if you want to attain stages of the enlightenment, then you have to choose who you are going to associate with. Okay? Because nowadays people say you become average of 5 people that you associate frequently. Okay? So the Buddha said the same thing, because if you associate noble friends, then you are able to develop your wholesome state. But if you associate some other friends that are not necessarily bad, who don't help you to develop your path, then you don't get any support from them to develop your path. Okay? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do you think that sometimes I may associate with someone who is not that positive in order to get a good benefit out of it? A good benefit for some greater cause. And on the way I help this person. But it's not something good to me. I may get a little polluted by his or her mind, but it's for the greater cause, other than myself, other than my own. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing is, because in this world, like, we have to associate so many different people. So in those moments, like, we need to be mindful, and we should not let them to influence us. So we should try to influence them. And yes, sometimes we have to pay some cost when we associate, because sometimes we have to associate. We cannot avoid everyone. So in those moments, we need to be mindful, and we need to be aware what's happening to our mind when we associate them. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ska. Today, we discuss about a wonderful sutta, Meghiya Sutta. We collect a lot of merit, good karma. So by the power of all the good karma we collected today, with the blessings of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, may you and your loved ones have a long life, healthy life. May you always have a peaceful mind. May you be able to learn the teachings of the Buddha always, and may you be able to develop your meditation practices, and may you be able to realize the Four Noble Truths and attain bliss of happiness, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now I'm going to chant verses of blessings. Close your eyes and listen to me. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevache ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. May you have long life and be free from illness. May you attain bliss of happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for joining today, and don't forget to join next class to learn the next part of the sutta. And may you all have a peaceful mind, and have a good night.